Welcome to another episode of the Logist. Today we'll be talking about domestic violence. Yes, violence. We'll be taking our reference from the 732nd Act of the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana, which is titled the Domestic Violence Act 2007. Basically, we'll be talking about what domestic violence entails. Is it right to beat your mother? Does it fall under domestic violence? What at all is emotions part of domestic violence? Stay tuned as I will be elaborating on this topic. If you are new on this channel, hit the subscribe button and turn on the post notification. If you are old, thank you very much. Both old and new. Don't forget to share this content so you invite lots of people to join this family. Thank you and stay tuned. Like I said, today I'll be talking about domestic violence, and the reference is taken from the Domestic Act 2007. So let's start with what does domestic violence mean? What at all is domestic violence? So domestic violence means engaging in the following within the context of a previous or existing domestic relationship. So first of all, before domestic violence can be a domestic violence, there must be a domestic relationship. So an act under the Criminal Code 1960, Act 29, which constitutes a threat or harm to a person under the act. Specific acts, threats to commit or acts likely to result in physical abuse, namely, so some of the physical abuse, namely physical assault or use of physical force against another person, including forcible confinement or detention of another person and depriving of another person of access of adequate food, water, clothing, shelter, rest, or subjecting another person to torture or other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. So this becomes a domestic violence if you don't give someone who you have a domestic relationship with. So it could be your father, your wife, your mother, your sister, your relative that you live with, or your girlfriend, boyfriend that you live with for a period of time, or you've lived with for a period of time. So if you deprive the person of shelter, rest, if you quarantine the person, yes, all these are termed as domestic violence. Or two, so that one was the physical. Now we come to the sexual abuse, namely forceful engagement of another person in a sexual contact, which includes sexual conduct that abuses, humiliates, or degrades other person or otherwise violates another person's sexual integrity, or a sexual contact by a person aware of being infected with human immunodeficiency virus, which is HIV, or any other sexual transmitted disease with another person without that person or without the other person being given a prior information of the infection. So if you sexually abuse someone or you have sex with someone and then you know that you are having HIV/AIDS, but you do not give the person you are engaging in this act with, in this case, this person could be your wife or your girlfriend or your engaged person. Say you are engaged to the person, whatever the courtship period. So if you do not inform the person that you have any sexual transmitted disease, not only HIV is any other disease that is sexually transmitted, and you do not inform the person, it is characterized under the Domestic Violence Act. And then thirdly, economic abuse. Yes, we the people who love money, like me for instance, namely deprivation or threatened deprivation of economic or financial resource which a person is entitled to by law. So if you owe something economically, you are entitled to, let's say, a shop by law, and then someone is depriving you, your domestic someone you are having a domestic relationship with is depriving you of having access to this thing or this establishment which rightfully belongs to you, or the disposition or threatened disposition of movable or immovable properties. So the movable properties could be your mobile phone or your money, physical cash. Immovable properties could be your shop. In which another person has a material interest in hiding or hindering the use of property, or damaging or destroying property in which another person has a material interest in. So to our parents, our uncles give us money and then you hide the money. Meanwhile, we also have material interest in our own money that our uncle, our sibling, our aunties give us. Dear mothers and fathers, you are domestically violencing us. Yes, my own coinage. And the fourth one is emotional damage. Yes, emotional, which includes verbal or psychological abuse, namely any conduct that makes another person feel constantly unhappy. So you see, we have these particular people in various classes. Some of them, you call them short, you call them plump, you call them slim, you call them skinny, and then if they are unhappy, they feel miserable, humiliated, ridiculed, afraid, or depressed, or feel inadequate or worthless. You are causing emotional damage, which is a domestic violence to the person. Sometimes you live with your sister, or your mother will be hitting on a particular sibling of yours. You there, you are not always bringing that sibling of yours down with words. It's emotional damage, and if you report, it's a crime. C, harassment, including sexual harassment, which we have talked about already, and intimidation by inducing fear in another person. If you do not make someone live freely in the house, you always threaten this person in your house that if you do this, I'll do this to you, if you do this, and then the person is unhappy. It is domestic violence. D, behavior or conduct that in any way harms or may harm another person. If you use cane to strip your child, you are harming or it may harm your child. Domestic violence. Endangers the safety, health or well-being of another person. So if you do anything which in any way endangers the person you are doing it to, the person that you have a domestic relationship with that you are doing it to, if it endangers the person and it makes the well-being of the person be at stake, then it is under domestic violence. Or undermines another person's privacy, integrity or security, or detract or is likely to detract from another person's dignity and worth as a human being. All these are under what we call domestic violence, and it is punishable by law if reported. So when you go to the police station or the police station, we have this division called the DOFS, which is who this sector mainly deal with domestic issues, and they apply these laws. If you do any of these things to someone, you are likely to face at least 2 years imprisonment, if I am not mistaken, or you can be fined. So let's all help prevent domestic violence. This brings us to the end of today's video. Like I said, if you are new on this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on your post notification. If you are old, thank you very much. I hope you are educated. Subscribe and share this video to everyone so they can also subscribe and enjoy this informative content. Thank you very much.